What was the whole reason that the Spanish came to the Americas? Was it to expand their territory, find riches, or simply to explore the New World? Do you think the conquistadors even knew that they were going to end up killing millions of native people? Many might not think of this when they think of the Americas, but the fact is, the Americas are a product of post-colonialism, just as Art Spiegelman and his father are a product of colonialism by the Nazis. Post-colonialism is the historical lens in which is often looked through when critics look at the power and works that were and are produced by those who were and are colonized. These issues often involve power, economics, politics, religion, and culture, with the bigger issue on how these components work with the colonizers controlling the colonized and the role that the colonizers played on the colonized. The idea of colonialism started around the 15th century when the Spanish and the Portuguese started the Age of Discovery by starting to colonize the Americas. By the end of World War I, decolonization had started to begin around the world, in most places from South America to the Middle East. But if you look at the bigger picture, it really was not until the start of the 21st century when the embers of colonization began to settle and post-colonialism really began. The broad range in which post-colonialism can be applied to is almost overwhelming because there are so many accounts of a more authoritative and more powerful people taking over and taking advantage of another group of people that were considered less or not equal in the eyes of the colonizers.
The story Mouse by Art Spiegelman incorporates many characteristics of post-colonial literature. The book shows us a plot involving Spiegelman's father, a character who was once colonized and is now free, therefore post-colonial. This also follows into the second characteristic that is clearly post-colonial, that the narrative is seen through a lens of a post-colonial character. This was done by Spiegelman having himself tell his father's story instead of having an actual post-colonized person, his father, tell it to us. This creates a post-colonial viewpoint in that we are no longer seeing things through a first-hand colonized perspective, but rather through someone who has only had to live with stories of the colonial period. Spiegelman's use of the animals, mice, cats, and pigs, show us how the author uses stereotypes brought about by this theory for his readers to understand this theory. You can tell the author doesn't agree with the stereotype of cheapness brought about by Vladek, yet it is still used and proves that this theory relates to the post-colonial and cultural outlook of what came from the Holocaust. When first hearing post-colonial theory, you may have had an image pop into your head of a conquistador sailing on a ship to a new land for expansion. While this may be accurate in some sense, it is not completely true. This theory can cover a wide array of topics, including gender, race, and class. While gazing through the post-colonial lens, you can see how many different types of minorities can be put into categories based solely on certain aspects of who they are. While post-colonial theory depends on stereotypes, it also creates some. That may be confusing until looking at how society changes its views on many things. Before the Holocaust, Adolf Hitler was a great public speaker who wanted to help Germany. Afterwards, he is portrayed as an evil dictator who overthrew German government and ideals. So, in conclusion, by looking at this theory, you can see the before and after opinions of the same subject.